Are you tired of mediocre haircuts and lackluster service? Look no further. Get ready to redefine your grooming game with the ultimate experience at NoGrease Barbershop, conveniently located at Northlake Mall and Charlotte Premium Outlets. It's not just about a haircut, it's about the experience. NoGrease Premium in Northlake sets a new standard for luxury with a full-service bar selection. Elevate your grooming experience even further with their signature drinks served during your service or while you wait. Whether you're looking for a classic fade, a timeless gentleman cut, or a bold modern style, NoGrease Premium in Northlake got you covered with their design and color specialists. Let's not forget about the importance of routine self-care for men. Their partnership with Alpha Male Nail Care, exclusively at NoGrease Premium, offers manicures and pedicures as a part of your routine grooming. Visit NoGrease Barbershop at Charlotte Premium Outlets or Northlake Mall today, and make sure you tell them that the Black Dads Club sent you.
This girl I met in Atlanta, right? Baddie. This is probably like 8 years ago, and this is how the tricking. This is the first time I'm really experiencing like real tricking. She's like, "Yo, we going to the club. I'll meet you at the club, whatever." She said, "But I think my man gonna be there, so I can't really talk to you." So hold on.
You a house wrecker, bro.
Go to the club. I see her. I'm like, I'm about to holler at her, but she around all these tall people over there, like in the section.
Oh, NBA dudes,
right? So I don't say much.
Yeah.
This LeSean McCoy, by the way.
Bathroom. She come on my
too much money to be acting like that.
She still don't recognize. I'm like, girls. So I take my shades off. It's me,
right?
You see the diamonds?
Yeah,
you see the two face? It's me.
Yeah.
She don't see nothing to me. 2 days later,
that's what athletes.
I talked to her.
Niggas.
Right? I'm like, "Dad, what happened? What's up?" She said, "Oh man, I told you my man was there."
Oh yeah.
I said, "Well, we was in the bathroom. You couldn't talk." She said, "No, trust me. He not that type of dude. You know what I mean? He take good care of me." I said, "Look, I ain't worried about that, baby. I'll take you shopping tomorrow. I ain't tripping." Now, you know, because I'm a nice guy. We go to dinner. I might get a small little gift for you.
Yeah,
chasing the chick that already got a man.
No. He don't take me. No. This is what she said though. He don't take me shopping here. He take me to France. I'm like, who is this dude? Guess what she said his name was? The Kimbe Mutombo.
Name dropping is wild.
I said so because first my ego was like, "You taking him over me," but I get it. He take you shopping. PJ to France and back. I say,
this video is wild on multiple levels. You said what I was going to say, but however, let's have this conversation. This is wild.
This is simping.
Okay.
This is simping. And like people always be like, "What is simping?" It's like, yo, like this is simping, man. Like, dude, you see a girl and she's like, "Yo, come meet me out at the club, but I'm gonna be there with my man." And you still go. This is, and then you like, okay, well, you know, he spent money on you. I could take you shopping too. And then, like, come on, bro. And then the name drop at the end,
bro. That was, I think. So when you dropped it in the email, we're gonna talk about Mike's email etiquette later too. But when you dropped it in the email and I clicked it, I skimmed past all the simping part. Why? Because I say this all the time. Athletes are actually the corniest of them all. As far as like entertainers, athletes, actors go into the entertainment part. But I'm talking about like musicians, actors, athletes. I don't know who else.
But sadly, that's all that's our cornerstone black man, right? It's always an entertainer or athlete of some sort.
You
know, that's on the podcast, on the web, or on the internet, or on the show.
With a microphone.
Besides
us.
Yeah, basically.
But y'all hate us just as much.
Yeah, I mean, we get called out too.
Yeah, they called me a name this week, and I was like, yo, everybody in the comments is picking on Mike. Why am I catching a stray? But whatever, man. But, you know, when he did the name drop, so simping amongst athletes and musicians never surprised me. It's just honestly, you know, I took pictures of a baddie this week. Shout out to her. Shout out to Michelle. She's mad cool, right? And she's an entrepreneur, but she's also a bottle girl. Yeah. And me and her were talking, and she said, you know, these rappers and athletes are so lame. She said, because none of them have as much money as you think they have. And I go, yeah, like, well, and I told her, I said, well, most people that you meet that have money, they're just hoping for free shit. They hoping that they name and their whatever comes before them gets them what they want, right? But the name dropping of the dude that you was trying to hit on this girl, which is dirty macking to me. It's like, dang, definitely. Like, cause now I don't know. I'm imagining I don't know. Dikembe is still with that woman.
And there's a good chance Dikembe's married. Why are you? Yeah, like why are you?
That's what I was going with next, business?
Bro. Like I don't know, but I'm pretty sure like Dikembe's probably married.
Yeah,
man.
and if not, he don't want to know that his girl was like sneak dissing behind his back. I mean, most of those guys understand that. It also made me think like, what club was Dikembe Mutombo in? He don't strike me as a club goer.
Yeah, it really does.
Not where Shady McCoy going. But you know, he earned the name, so it is what it is. I want to welcome everybody to episode 141. This is going to be a great episode brought to you by NoGrease Barbershop. Shout out to NoGrease at Premium Outlets in Northlake Mall. Darnell, don't worry, I'm coming, bro. I got to get a haircut. It's been a minute. Darnell called me. He called me because my nephew was in there getting his haircut, right? And my nephew, he said, yo, what is in your nephew's hair? My nephew's trying to get waves. Yeah. Right? My nephew he's getting smarter, which is getting scarier for me. Cause Hayden always gets like a low cut, even all over, right? And I told him, I said, yo, you need to figure this out before you go to middle school, because them kids gonna be laughing at you having your hair cut too low. And so he figured, all right, my mom makes me do this because I don't take care of my hair. So I gotta prove to her. So he was like, oh, waves is the easiest thing. So
he thinks waves are easy.
Well, no, he thinks it's easier for her to allow him to do something to his hair. So he been working. So he came over, you know, I'm showing him how to brush his hair, which it's super cool for me and him. And also I had to convince him that my dad used to have waves, because my dad is bald now. So he's like, you know, Pop ain't never had waves. Anyway, what Hayden really wants is like just the fade where it's high on top, where they have like the little, you know, the little F-boy rapper haircuts that they all get. Anyway, so he's trying to do that. But in the midst of this, he convinced his mom to take him to the beauty supply store. Why this boy had Murray's or whatever. You remember that in the orange can, the grease? Yeah. He had that shit caked in his head, bro. Darnell called me.
To go get a haircut?
Yes. Darnell called me, said, yo, what is this? And Darnell didn't know. Hayden didn't know. So I went over there and I said, yo.
We all made that mistake of going to the barber with
one time. We did. Yeah. But I told Hayden, I said, yo, from here on out, call me. I told my pops got the greatest laugh ever. For those who do not know, the hair grease that comes in the orange can, I can't remember if it's Murphy's or Murray's. Either way, it don't come out.
Yeah, I think it's Murray's.
It does not come out of your head. I do want to welcome that. I do. This is episode 141. We know why y'all here. Y'all seen the cover art. However, I do got a dad tip that I want to share. I love Vince Staples. He's one of my favorite people on the internet. I think Vince Staples is amazing just as a person. Please go check out his doc online. But he had an interesting take. Speaking of my nephew, is this the right one?
The cool uncle?
Nah, not at all. I'll be tripping. I keep him square, bro. You got to keep him square. All that cool shit out. Yeah, I want to be your friend.
Right.
You know what I mean? You a child.
Right.
You know what I mean? We not kicking it.
Right. I'm your uncle.
I go to a game or something, like, if you good.
Right.
I found that super funny. I have been watching Vince Staples is on Big Boy, and they were asking him if he's the cool uncle.
Yeah.
And he said, no, we got to keep these kids square. Vince Staples, if you do not know, he grew up in Long Beach. He is very much I'm going to tell y'all the truth about all this stuff. He loves to tell everybody that the streets is a myth. He loves to tell y'all, being from California, that gang violence is real and a lot of y'all is playing. Yeah. And so I love when he always talks about keeping shit square, partially because Mike's like to remind y'all from the suburbs. But the other thing of it is like, yo, a lot of photographers are posting prom pictures, and I'm seeing a lot of parents that's real cool with their kids, and their kids is too grown looking.
Yeah. Prom pictures be looking wild. You know, I always say, wait a daddy.
Did I send you the picture of the mom on her kid's 5th grade graduation? Her ass was out?
No.
I will send it to you.
No, please don't.
No. I got it.
Again, where's the dad? Where's the dad, man?
That's all the comments. That was the greatest part about the comments. Everybody want to know. So the dad tip of the week is, yo, stop trying to be your kid's friend.
Stop.
I mean.
Yeah, I'm with that. Stop being your kid.
When do you got to ease up on your kid?
I mean, I don't know. I think it's kid by kid, man. Like you kind of gauge and see how they're growing. Like one of the things that I look back on, like I used to always want to drive. Right. When I was like probably like 10. So, you know, I grew up in the country. And like the first place my dad would let me drive would be to move the car to the top of the hill to wash it, right?
Okay.
And then, you know, eventually I started, you know, I would like take the trash to the dumps at like 2 miles, drive 2 miles. Again, I live in the country.
No, not a stop sign ever.
Yeah, like I'm a teenager, you know, drive back, right? And then one of the things when I got older, I realized is like, you know, I'm thinking it's like, oh, you know, that's just fun. You know, my dad's allowing me to do that. But what he's actually doing is testing to see how responsible I am, right? Like that's what he's doing. I'm just thinking that, oh, he just let me drive.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, like, he's gauging, can this boy drive?
Yeah.
How far, I'm pretty sure he was checking to see like how long does it take him to go to the dumpster and come back, right?
Yeah.
Is he getting this done in a minute and a half? Like this boy hauling tail, right?
Or it's 15 minutes.
Yeah, right. So, this boy doing something else, right? So I think, but back then I didn't really realize that was his way of kind of gauging my maturity level. And I think as a parent, like every child's gonna be different. Like you kind of got to just gauge their maturity level. Yeah. So see what they want to do and what they don't want to do. Like my son now, like it's things where he'll be like, I'm getting too old for that. And I'll be like, all right, proud of you. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Me and my pops didn't get cool till freshman year. Matter of fact, the day he moved me in my dorm.
Yeah.
And I think I've said it on this pod many a times. I felt like that day he realized like, all right, my job isn't done, but you can be responsible for yourself now. Like I've done what I was supposed to do. Now it's time to see if the stuff I instilled in you is going to work. And so I think I just saw a sigh of relief. Dog, I don't want to skip to. Oh, we're not going to recap this. I love when I said single motherhood was a myth. And everybody, I think I said this last week, I can't remember. But everybody told me like, oh no, the grass is greener, the grass is greener, the grass is greener. And I started replying to everybody saying, yes, is it greener because you finally got out of your mama's house?
Yeah.
A lot of answers was yeah. Sometimes when you leave your parents, you do see a sigh of relief that comes off of their shoulders, right? Exactly. And so I realized when I was in that dorm, my dad was finally like, okay, now your mama stop fussing, hopefully. Two is like, you are here. You got to figure this out, my man. So yeah. All right. Diddy. This is what we here for. This is hopefully we at a time. Actually got to be on time. My wife is back out of town.
Yeah.
Go figure. Single fatherhood.
Funny.
Father's Day is coming up. We're going to talk about gifts that we want. Me and Mike want the next episode. A video came out from CNN, and I'm going to tell the story that I believe will happen. I believe, what's the boy name? What's Diddy's son name? Either way, Diddy's son, the one that looks just like him.
The King?
King Combs.
Yeah.
King Combs dropped a diss track. Me and Mike said last week, you don't play with the FBI. We didn't know what was about to happen.
Yeah, I have no clue who dropped that.
Well,
who dropped that video, but they dropped it straight to CNN, so it had to be somebody
that knew who to get somebody to get this to somebody to play. CNN showed a video from 2016 of Diddy. I don't even know the word what you want to say.
I mean, abusing,
beating.
That's abusing, beating
Cassie in a hotel at I think they said the Intercontinental.
Yeah, what was that? Was that LA or Miami?
It had to be LA because LA made a statement saying they can't press charges. Yeah. And it was nasty to watch. Disgusting to watch. Hard to watch. I only watched it once. I didn't need to see no more. Reading reports later, it actually made me be like, yo, this is a sick ass situation. The reactions, what was your reaction?
I mean, it looked terrible, but I've said plenty of times, right? It's always gonna look terrible. So I don't think I made it all the way through. Like once he kicked, I kind of just like, what's the point, bro? Like what are you doing?
Okay, I clicked off right after that.
Yeah, it was just that after that, I was just like, what are you doing? So, obviously, video speaks for itself, and that's the type of person that Diddy is, right? Like what you see in that video. That's Diddy. So everything, his apology, him saying I'm sorry, like dude, that's from 2016. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that was the worst apology I think I've heard.
Yeah, like you're not apologizing because you did it, right?
Facts.
You're apologizing because it got released. And I'm just wondering, has he gotten into therapy? Has he gotten any help? I doubt it. And I think that Cassie's probably not the only one. It's probably not the first time. That's who Diddy is. And Diddy is everything that I speak against on this platform, right? Descendant of a gangster, right?
Drug dealer, gangster. That is
single mother,
true.
Raised in a mother-led home. making multiple fertility partners, not marrying, any
Just
of the women, right? So it's like everything, it's crazy when you speak against all these things and people just be like, oh, no big deal. You guys are hating, pocket watching, dick watching, whatever it is, right? But then this guy is everything that we speak against. So it's not, for him to do that, like that is the type of man that's going to have that type of behavior.
Yeah, I think for me, when let me do it like this. When I saw the video, first of all, my wife called me upset. And she said, did you see the video? And this before it hit our group chat. Yeah. And so I said, nah. She said, yo, you got to see this. As soon as I seen his foot go back, I didn't zoom in to see if he connected. I didn't need to. Yeah. I don't like men fighting videos and when somebody hit the ground, somebody kick.
Facts.
When to me, somebody hits the ground in a fight, it's done. Yeah. Like I can understand. I don't like jumping videos. Something about feet to the face. It's something about that, and it's something about spitting on people. I'm just like I'm done. Yeah. I'm checked out. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, all right, cool, I'm done. I don't need to see the rest of the video. Partially because you was more outside than me, but we was outside when Cassie was jumping. She was always the fine chick. No offense, Cassie, because you've been through enough. The fine chick that can't sing.
I mean, me and you was good. It was good.
Tell me how you like it. That was it. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to her career in a little bit, but she was always like super pretty. Like her and Anne-Marie was like right there as far as like the pretty chicks who could barely sing, but but was just fine, right? But it was like to know that, to know Diddy's history. I think that's the apology. Well, so I saw the reaction. I think the other thing that came out for me was I wasn't mad at everybody else's reaction, the people that was disgusted, the people that was coming out. I wasn't even mad at the Christian folks who were like, pray for him, offer forgiveness type stuff. Last night at dinner, I went to dinner with my parents and my sister and my the boys, right? Yeah. And we had a conversation about TD Jakes, about his sermon. And I hate having conversations with my dad because he want to say what he want to say, but he gauges how long this conversation gonna take at a dinner table, right? Yeah. And he gauges what he says because my dad he's not as bad as your dad as far as like, yo, when I say something, it's gonna mean something. Yeah. Like my dad don't talk. I'm telling y'all, my dad got a couple bodies. I don't care what nobody says, but he don't talk. Yeah. But it's but my dad was saying like he had his own opinion about saints in the church coming so quick to say, yo, pray, keep this man in your prayers. And if people are really going to offer this man counseling.
Yeah, well, I think it's just the thing to say. One of the things that I've noticed, on the internet, we don't really care about rehabilitation. We do not give second chances, right? Never. We will bring something up over and over and over again. So we are a punished culture. So anytime I see like all that, like no one really cares. No one really wants him to get better.
Nobody.
Diddy needs to get better for Diddy's sake, and for the sake of his daughters, his sons, like. All that stuff, it has ramifications, right? Like, I have a friend that actually is going through something very similar. But I can't even call her a friend no more because we fell out. And we fell out because she was dating a guy and I was just like my exact words were like, this guy's going to kill you. And I don't want to be there for it if you don't want to leave, right? And we stopped talking for a year and a half. And what's crazy is when this happened, right before this happened, like she reached back out, like she sent me a message from Instagram account because I blocked.
I understand.
On everything. And before we came in and recorded the pod, I was like, I actually got a question for you. And like I said, we used to be friends. I can't say that we're friends anymore. Yeah. And I asked her, I said, I was like, what did it take for you to leave? I was like, what did it take? And basically she was like, knowing that he did not have access to be able to come back and harm her. Like he's locked up now, no bail, right? And she was like, that's what it took though, right? She was like, anything else would have been a misdemeanor and it just would have made him angrier. So she was like, it felt like a hostage situation. Now that's insight that I didn't have, right?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have thought that, because the first thought is, well, why don't y'all leave? Why don't you leave the situation? So I mean, and I was like, I didn't want to ask her. I was like, that's the wrong question. I was like, what did it take for you to leave? So when I look back at Cassie, I think when we talked about this a while ago before we saw the video, we were just like, hey, I think that was more of a question, right? Why was she there, right?
Yeah.
And I think after having someone that experienced it, right, and then, and to be able to ask that question, like, okay, what's your frame of mind? It provided more insight, and that's just something I'm just sharing with fellas, because I don't know if sometimes we understand it's like, yeah, to get a misdemeanor, like, it's crazy to think, right? But she was like basically, like the way that she was able to get away was the guy came up to her job and basically was threatening her at work. She's basically hiding at work. So her coworkers finally just like, yo, we got to call the cops.
Yeah.
So they called the cop, and the cop actually took interest in her case. Like, it wasn't just, hey, send him home, hit him with a misdemeanor. It was just like, hey, where does this bruise come from? Where does this mark come from?
Yeah.
And like basically say like, no, we not gonna let this slide.
Yeah.
And then of course once that happened, then the state got it. Now it's the state versus the dude. So,
and that's the crazy part about this Cassie story. If you read, I think a lot of us, and I'm not, damn, this is where my squirrel brain happened. Apparently 1 in 3 women get abused. And apparently 1 in 4 men get abused. Yeah. And I'm not going to say, I think those numbers are too close together. And I think the narrative is that they're so far apart.
Yeah.
Also, I do want to say, I believe both of those numbers is higher.
Oh, absolutely.
And I feel safe in saying that. But with that being said, I don't want to speak from, I think it's unfair for a lot of, for the narrative that's going around is, a lot of y'all friends with Diddy's, and a lot of y'all hang around Diddy's, and y'all excuse Diddy's. I hate that narrative. And one thing this pod has taught me, giving Mike credit too early. One of the things Mike has taught me is some people you just don't have to have the conversation with.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's women for me. Sometimes it's young dudes.
Yeah.
I just don't have to have those. So those people, kind of like when Trump was running around and they was getting excited, block.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was an easy block for me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I rather have the conversations. I remember, so with that being said, when you read the things that, when we were talking about Cassie before, it was like a lot of speculations why she's an employee of this. But then you start to realize, like, in her document, she said that this tape is from, she told the police, hey, I was escaping. He went to sleep. I grabbed my shit. I was going to the elevator and he woke up, saw I wasn't there, and he drugged me back. Now, they're looking for, allegedly, they're going to find another angle, because if he drags her, that's a kidnapping charge, and that doesn't have a statute of limitations.
Yeah.
So to understand that that's how that happened, to understand that gives more credence to her saying, hey, no, I lived in my home. He was mad that I escaped. He came there and he raped me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's giving a lot of credence to stuff, which is sad and disgusting. And I guess, me, I know we had this conversation off mic. I've always said, like, certain people, I believe that the story, his apology, which was weak, which let me know that Diddy, like Skip Bayless, he's going into that, yo, bro, can you read the room?
Yeah.
I understand he can't. Skip Bayless can't read the room, and now Diddy's in the same line.
Diddy is reacting the way I would expect an emotional person to react.
You get online, you don't say her name, which you legally, I don't think you can, which is fine. But to say that, it was just disgusting to watch. You didn't seem remorseful. And this is Diddy, more or less like a lot of A-list guys who are in the top 10th of the percent of the world. They got God complexes, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a narcissist, and to your other point, like I hate this idea. It's like, yo, a lot of y'all are supporting, Diddy's, and y'all friends with Diddy. Y'all got to stop that narrative every time this come true. So leads into another question. I asked her. Matter of fact, I'll read it to you. I was like, did any of his friends know? Right, because that's the narrative, right? Is that we know, right? And she was like, a few saw her, but they never like knew like what it was, right? And then she was like lied to all his family as well as mine. We didn't go to an Xmas party because I wasn't feeling good. True narcissists, you know, always have to look good, right? And then I had asked her, I was like, well, who knew, right? You know, I picked up the phone and called her. She was like, his son, right? Which means that, you know, again, what odds do that young man have now being raised in a broken home with an abusive father, right? She was like, his cousin knew, which is a young lady, and gosh, might have been someone else, but none of his friends knew. Yeah. Right? They could suspect, but none of them knew. Yeah. You know, so, you know, it is that idea. It's like, yo, there's a lot of like, dude, I don't think people really know exactly what's going on in someone else's home. And then, bro, all right, let's say I know. Most times, and I feel comfortable in saying this, most times dudes just get away from that dudes. Like, hey, yeah, I mean, hey, that can't happen. Yeah, that can't happen in front of me. You talk to her, you might say something to her, and then you start removing yourself from that dude. It's no shock to me that certain people are no longer around Diddy anymore. It's no shock to me. I've said this to y'all plenty of times. The stories, it's too many stories and too many people leaving Diddy for me to be like, yo, what you mean? How come Mace don't talk to you no more? Yeah. How come, you know, we know why Shine had to leave. We know you looking at artists. We can get the camera on CNN who I don't know where the ball was dropped. Classic interview. I don't know. Like, why would you bring Cameron on CNN? Like, I am so sick of media going to athletes and entertainers when it's anything having to do with Black society. It is asinine. I've told you too many times, working for a big company in a marketing department, too many people in there do not know Black people, and it be Black people in the room. And that's insane. I mean, I would think Lenore Cohen, or however you pronounce his name, Leor, he probably knows Diddy better than Cameron. He ain't going on there because Leor did not talk about Russell Simmons, and he know him the best. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's like, you know, this idea is like, yo, well, let's go to a rapper like, yo, if y'all want to say something, say something. If y'all want to report something, report something. Bringing Cameron on and then making it like Cameron is acting exactly how I'd expect Cameron to act, right? He's so. I can't say he's the one in the wrong. CNN, what are you doing? Dr. Tommy Curry's right there. He's the foremost expert in Black male behavior, you know, studies. Facts, but we don't want that. Nobody gonna click in for that. No. Let's bring Cameron on. But bro, Mace is right there. Yeah. Who is actually signed to the guy, who actually, and you know, I always say this, it gets interesting to me when these rappers who be around Diddy, they go find religion as soon as they stop hanging around him. I ain't saying Mace was actually a pastor. Y'all already know how I feel about that. It's a couple of y'all, boy, in Judgment Day gonna be interesting. I'm gonna just leave it at that. But Mace is right there. Talk to him, but you bring Cameron and look, shout out to the pink horsepower, man. I be making jokes about pink horsepower on here, but shout out to Cam making everybody understand what I was talking about. But I just find it interesting, man. And also, you know, the saddest part for me about all this is like, because of what you're saying, this is going to have an effect on Black people. Let's keep it real. Diddy ain't dropped an album besides the one that came out last year, which way to ruin a great project, by the way. He got one song on there, and I think it's too early to even start having this conversation of, yo, you gonna still play Diddy's music or what he produced? Well, Diddy don't have a ton of music. He don't. So. He got 2 albums, and the last one was fire. But my goodness, you don't have a ton of music, so it's not one of those things. It's like, are you gonna cancel him? I mean, the dude has been a piece of shit for a minute, for decades. Yeah. But I put it like this. And I don't want to bang on him. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. Yeah, no, I'm just saying like. It's too easy, right? It's a layup. I'd rather us discuss like, hey, like there's this idea of when it comes to domestic violence, right? Like, okay, how do we stop domestic violence, right? Everybody is just going with the narrative of, well, it shouldn't happen. Well, it does happen, and this is a good opportunity for us to actually discuss how do we curb it, how do we curtail it, right? How do we deal with people that are in situations like that, like. You know, again, like I said, I saw someone go through it and it ended our friendship. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I didn't know what to do. Like, I mean, I literally Googled it, and one of the things was just like, yo, you can't make them leave. They have to make a decision to do that themselves. And it was just like, yo, when they come back around, you know, basically, you know, welcome them back. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, like the way that she left our friendship, man, over that mess, I was heated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you know how you had a conversation in your head, like, man, when I see them mother and they say I'm be like, yeah, fuck you. Yeah. And I was just like, and I didn't do that. I was just like, hey, hey man, welcome back, man. Glad you're alive.
Homegirl, real pretty girl who I was cool with, who ended up being a dancer. Mm-hmm. She was going through something similar like that. Now that I'm thinking about it, and we don't talk to this day. You know, you know what? Stockholm syndrome is so bad, man. And sometimes as a man who, when you're not there, you don't witness it, you're hearing stories, you understand very early that you can't make them do something they don't want to do.
Yeah. And when we say witnessing it, like we're not witnessing the actual abuse.
Yeah,
we see the person going through it.
Yeah, you witnessing them going through it.
You're hearing about it. And it's just like you trying to have the conversation. Because, I mean, I know a lot of y'all want to do, be a little scrappy. I'm going to shoot Diddy to fade. Like, I mean, good luck with that. He's still a billionaire. Good luck.
Yeah. And it's also one of them things like, what's that going to do?
Yeah, I mean, the behavior has to change. And in the black community, we do have higher DV rates than other races. And when I say DV, I don't want y'all thinking like just men hitting women, but also women hitting men. Mm-hmm. So our rates are way higher. Like, if I look at the rates of men that are killed by their partners, mm-hmm. it's 5 times the rate of white men in this country. Black men are 5 times more likely to die than black men, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with black women. Black women are 4 times more likely to die than white women, right? So is it socioeconomic? Is it societal? Like, what is it that brings us to this place, right? We watched Diddy. What part of Diddy growing up made him think that was normal? Like what he was doing in that video, like what makes him think that that's normal? When we say on this pod all the time, real power is restraint, right? Like that's true power. When you give in to your lowest form of self, that's a weakness. And in that video is Diddy at his weakest. He is flailing on a 100-pound woman, right? There's like, how do you avoid that outside of just, it shouldn't happen? Well, we need to discuss in our community, right? And I get it. We hate discussing nuance. It's either black or white, yes or no. But we do need to get to a point that, we understand. I don't even have the answer to it.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I think a lot of issues in our community is a lack of communication. A lot of it is a lack of This sounds so we lazy, yo. And I hate to say it because a lot of us, if it ain't easy, we're not willing to do the work. And me and my wife had this conversation yesterday about just a generation of doing the work. Speaking of generations, this is a great time for me to remind y'all, yo, this goes back to my point about you old motherfuckers dating these young women, yo. 37 dating a 19-year-old. Signing her to a 10-album deal when we knew everybody knew she couldn't sing. That comes with power. That comes with control. I think all of that is there. I think a lot of this stuff makes me open my eyes. Gene Deal, who used to be a bodyguard for Puffy back in the day, who's been for the last year, if you put a microphone in front of him, he's telling you everything, like all types of stuff. I don't think that for 1 second he got something to do with the FBI, and I ain't talking about snitching. I think a lot of us don't realize the police is on the internet too. Yeah. Shout out to the police officer that pulled me over today. Shout out to you, my man. Not a listener of the pod, but it was cool.
It's a good experience.
Good experience. I lived. So I think it's one of those things, yo. Like it's just a sad thing. And also, what's crazy? Me and my sister was talking about all this, and she said, you know what? So sad. I can't really talk about this conversation with my homegirls. Well, she said with some of the girls I know, because a lot of them have experienced this and they go through this with their partners. And she said our community cannot handle this. And this goes back, before we go to the next thing, this goes back to therapy, yo. Like for not 1 second, I think that Diddy is actually going to therapy.
Yeah, I don't think he's going not to make a video like that. And I'll tell you something else I asked her too. I said, at what point, considering everything you've been through, I was like, where's the moment that you could have left or should have left, right in the beginning? Mm-hmm. And she was like, basically, it was a conversation they had, and he was like, if we was married, I'd kill you, right? And this was before he had ever hit her. And, you know, it was laughing. It was in jest. And I'm like, I think sometimes we ignore red flags, warning signs.
Facts.
You know, men and women. This is not just something for the ladies, right? Like, as men, we do it too. We ignore these warning signs, and then you become a hostage of the situation, right? Because, like, she was a hostage for this past year because she couldn't leave because she leaves. Misdemeanor just makes them matter. Yeah, right. He's just going to stalk her. Yeah. He's just going to come to her house, and it was just like, it was eye opening. Like I said, for this to be happening, and then for her to be reaching back out, and I was like, well, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to ask questions that I don't have answers to. Yeah. With somebody that goes through it. And there's conversation like, you know, I've talked to her like, hey, you know, we're going to have a, you know, come to Jesus, you know, in the future. Facts. But I was like, I'm going to let you finish therapy. And, you know, once you finish your 9 sessions, like, you know, for us to get the friendship back on track, we gotta have a real talk. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. And I'm saying all that to say, as a guy, I don't know what else you could do. I know everybody want to do the white knight and the hero cape, and this is what I would do. But when you think something is going on, right? Like she's telling me stories of things that happened. I had no clue. Yeah, right? Facts. Craziness that's transpiring. So it's a good conversation that we should have. But I mean, outside of, like, as a brother, right? You got your sister, you got your mom, you got your wife. Who else can you really be responsible for? Yeah. So, like, even with you know, your sister, she's like, hey, I can't really have this conversation with my homegirls, right? Yeah. Somebody need to be having a conversation with all the ladies about what's transpiring and how you get out of it. You know. Come on, Joy Taylor and Taylor Rooks. Faster, so y'all quicker. Stop talking about niggas. Might go gloss over that. Yeah. Come on, women helping women. WNBA, baby. Caitlyn. They hate Caitlyn. They do, but we gonna get there. Insane. Speaking of another predator for, I don't even know, is this predator level? Kevin Spacey. This is quick. I'm just telling y'all right now, please go watch the Kevin Spacey doc. The only reason why I'm comparing him to Diddy, because I do believe Diddy has 30 years at least of just, accusational shit that now we all get the question. It's easier for us to believe it's true. Seeing Diddy do that to Cassie makes me believe that he blew up. I think it was Kid Cudi's car who was trying to holler at Cassie while her and Diddy was on a break. It makes me believe that story now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It makes me believe. It makes all the stories believable. Whether it's true or not, it makes them believable now. Yeah, it makes the story. And Diddy Diddy don't just put his hands on women. Go talk to Drake. Go talk to how he stepped to Kendrick Lamar. Go listen how some of these other artists. Go watch my man from Power when they were in the street during Halloween. I thought that was the cringiest video when Diddy was dressed up as the Joker and ran up on him. Dude was like, yo, who are you? And he didn't know it was Diddy under the Joker mask. And Diddy was talking crazy to him. And then finally, I think somebody leaned in his ear was like, yo, that's Diddy. And Diddy was still talking reckless. Yeah. It's like, I think when you watch the Kevin Spacey doc, it's 30 years of him assaulting people sexually, physically, whatever. Kevin Spacey was just a freak ass boy. But it's an interesting doc, especially because I like Kevin Spacey, but it's interesting. And then I think, we got to stop. Every time that you quiet when you see something or you hear these allegations, and I'm talking about people that's in the industry that gets it way before us, right? Before the public gets it. Every time you keep something quiet, that person just gains more power and gets bigger. I mean, they're the only people that can hold them accountable. Like, I don't even like this narrative online that, like, black men not holding, Diddy accountable. We don't know this friends. Nigga. Like, we don't know him. Like, there's people in his circle that actually can hold him accountable. Facts. So, like, in these industries, man, like, they're the ones that need to have a reckoning. It has nothing to do with men at large or men versus the bear. These industries, y'all need to hold each other accountable. This doesn't have anything to do with us. One of the wildest part of the Kevin Spacey doc was they were finishing up House of Cards before everything blew up, right? Yeah. On Kevin Spacey. And so for those who did not know, Kevin Spacey was gay for decades, but never came out because back then, if you came out as gay, pretty much your career was over. And there was a whole Hollywood theme on that. There was a list of people who, when they came out, they never got the respect or
the jobs and gigs, whatever, right? So he just kept it under wraps, had fake girlfriends, all types of shit. But he had a type. He liked the Marines that weren't gay. If you watch the doc, you'll see what I mean. They all look the same, sleeves, just got out the Marines. Kevin Spacey was doing some freaky shit, right? So one of the end things was, the reason why I tell you it was interesting is one of the production assistants was talking about how she got the word. Somebody told her, she said the word was, the girls are good around Kevin Spacey. That is crazy to think of.
That is insane.
To say, hey, no, I'm good. Women, we're safe.
Yeah.
And for her to say, he was a nice guy on the film. I just went and did my job and kept it moving. It's like, yo, what you mean? That means that the unions know. That means that several unions know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's crazy. Also, another great doc is the Ashley Madison doc. There's a new one.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Please do. This isn't like the other one. I think the other one's like 5 episodes. This one's only 3. Pretty good. I liked it. I do think a small part of the video, which isn't a big part, it was a big part of the last one. They never figured out who hacked. And I always say, I wish they would look into every man that was who signed up for the app. I know they're trying to focus on the women, like, oh, was it a disgruntled wife? I don't believe so. I believe it's a man. Why? Because in the last doc, they really dived into how Ashley Madison, I think like 80% of the women on there were bots.
Is these the same documentary or two different ones?
2 different ones.
Okay.
This actually focused on the couples. The other one didn't. It really focused on the company.
Yeah.
But the fact that Ashley Madison has so many bots as women, and mind you, men are paying to talk to these bots. I think it's safe to say that one of these dudes was mad that he found out he was talking to a bot and was like, all right, because these dudes who were on there was connected.
Yeah, I mean, like, isn't the point of Ashley Madison to actually meet up with the woman?
Yeah, but some dudes get caught up in that. I love the dude who was like, oh, I never cheated on my wife with Ashley Madison. You know what I'm saying? I never cheated on her, never met up with a woman, but he was smashing strippers on the side the whole time. It was the greatest shit ever. All right, let's get to last week, man. I ended the podcast to tell y'all about some.
Yeah, I say he finally did it in the morning.
Pass.
No.
Never going back to it.
No.
Yo, I mean, it was cool. It was fun. It was straight. I just felt like, we had to hurry up and get the day started, which I'm not a fan of.
Oh, man, that's what makes it fun sometimes, man.
I'm still young, so I still got at least 33 minutes of me in me from getting into bed to going to the bathroom.
Wild take.
What? I still got it in me.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? I understand that we only got 7 minutes. Let's get this over with. We only got 11 minutes. Let's get this over with.
Yeah. Hurry up, man, for the kid. Wake up. All that good stuff.
Man, his ass be up before me. He had my wallet in his book bag this morning.
Hey, man, he's trying to be like his dad. I like it.
Lucky I had an air tag in it.
You gotta watch them kids, bro. You gotta watch them. They sneaky.
Mike, if I didn't have an air tag, I would have never found my wallet. It was in his book bag in his room under his clothes.
Wow.
That's where, and my boys too. But yeah, we tried it in the morning. I mean, we didn't try, we did it. I was just like, yo, man, I like kissing. I like all this other stuff that we just wasn't able to do.
Gavin is in a romance.
And don't y'all send this to my wife. Ben and Ryan. But yeah, man. My favorite part of the show. Last week we had a great discussion about Kendrick Lamar and Drake. I think we're at about 10,000 views on YouTube. I think we're almost about like 5 grand total on TikTok.
That's insane.
Instagram, I don't know where we're at with that. Oh, I think we got like 15 on your video. So let's just encompass it to about 30 grand in views. 99% and Baraka is the 1%. I'm a fire Baraka up one day. I'm a flame you, buddy. 99% said you were wrong. Are you ready to walk back? Any takes?
Not really. I will say this. So y'all was so passionate that I didn't go back and listen to every Kendrick album last week.
Finally.
That was painful. Again. Yeah. I'm being a little bit flippant right there. And I'll say this. This is where I was wrong. Good Kid, Mad City is a really good album. It is a really good album. Dude, it was over a decade ago. I had forgotten. That's his best work.
Facts.
That now To Pimp a Butterfly, same on it.
You like George Clinton though?
Yeah, it wasn't. I couldn't do it. Steppers, no. And Damn
was great.
Damn was that should have been his second effort, if I'm being honest.
Well, you got to take time to make it.
Yeah, that should have been his second effort. So it was like, I still stand on what I stand on, man. Like, yeah, Good Kid, Mad City, yes, but it's like outside of that, it's like, man, I none of this stuff is like music. I'm just like, oh my god, I can't wait to put Humble on. I'm in the gym. So no, I stand on what I said with Kendrick. And here's the thing, I'm not anti Kendrick. I've clearly said I've clearly said I am a J. Cole fan, right? And I've clearly said that like Drake used to.
Are
make
you a
good
J. Cole
music.
fan?
I'm a J. Cole fan.
Y'all let Mike lie on this podcast.
Yeah,
man. I let him lie.
Well, I mean, he's not my favorite artist. We talking about out of the big three. I play way more Future than I play any of these guys.
Shout out to Future.
All right, so I'm
Free
like
band.
even Drake. I play way more Future.
Free bands,
but that's toxic. So I don't really like go around saying that. Hey, yeah, I love listening to Future music.
I think the problem is you're so dismissive on Kendrick, starting with calling him coleslaw.
Everybody likes coleslaw. That's
I don't.
That's kind of why I made. That's kind of why I made.
That's why I can't let you do it. Nope. You call him that. I can get like I said before. Shout out to Jamar. Jamar hit me up and said, "Yo, I think it's funny that Mike don't like voices, and he's a Andre 3 Stacks fan who is known for doing voices like a lot. I thought that was interesting.
Decent take.
Yeah,
but again, I didn't like when Eminem did it, and again, I think my dislike for I guess what Kendrick does sometimes, probably a lot of that does extend from Eminem, because like a lot of it, like Eminem kind of just fucked it up for everybody, and he was overhyped. Right, we're gonna get to Caitlyn, right? For what his skill set was, Caitlyn's actually really good. Like, but
Eminem is good.
He's
not palatable.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. Let me tell y'all something. I am here to say this. Mike doesn't know because Mike really don't do the internet. I have. Let me tell y'all. If we didn't have this podcast, Mike would not be on the fucking internet. I'm letting y'all know that right now. I had to make Mike active on the internet for this show to go. I had to do it. Let me tell y'all. He does not understand that Eminem stands are worse than Drake and Kendrick stands put together. So I am here to say on behalf of our podcast, we will clip that part, but we understand that y'all will die for that man. I am here to say in my 35 years of life as a black man growing up in the Southeast, this Southeast, right?
Yeah.
Right. Cool. I've never been in a car and somebody said, put that Eminem on. All right. Nobody.
Never.
Now, I understand that my favorite rapper loves the hell out of Eminem and respects him as an MC and a lyricist. I'm trying to save Mike to get him up out of there because he's going to get us cussed the hell out. I do understand that. I am the Lil Wayne fan who I remember when Lil Wayne was begging to get on a song with Eminem, which Wayne, I'm going to tell you as a black man, it was weird. I do remember Snoop Dogg just bragging about how great this guy was. I do remember, Kanye, Jay, all these guys, even Kendrick who loves Eminem. I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think Eminem is just not palatable.
I don't want anybody to think I hate Kendrick. I like Kendrick, right? I like Kendrick, right? I like Kendrick, but I'm not like to your point. I'm not like, yo, throw that Kendrick on when I get in the car.
Yeah,
I'm
Mike
like,
ain't me.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, throw the Future on, right?
Yeah, facts.
I'll be like, yo, even throw the Drake on, right? Give me views, Drake.
I'm mad because we don't take road trips no more, me and Mike. Because Mike refuses. Mike tells us now, if it ain't Atlanta, we fly.
Yeah, exactly.
And we haven't drove to Atlanta since like 2010. Shout out to me quitting the job and just letting the hotel discount go. But anyway, had to make more money. But with that, if we did have that, I would definitely grab the aux and make Mike listen to some Kendrick. But we can't. Shout out to Eminem for making Fact. I did like that song. It is totally just inappropriate. Yeah, man. And if y'all listen to Feel by Kendrick, you know what made me think about all of this? Kendrick has a song called Mortal Man, and I can't wait to see. It's on To Pimp a Butterfly, and it's really about what I think is happening to Drake right now. And I just laugh. I know it's not about Drake. It's really about the purpose of Mortal Man is about, imagine giving this industry everything you got, being raised up to the bar that's like none other, and they turn their back on you and nobody's there behind you to have your back, which his perfect example of that in the song is look how they did Michael Jackson. True. He was the darling, and then when all these accusations come out, which seem to be unfounded, right, about the children and everything, Michael Jackson really had nobody. Michael Jackson had to start reaching back to black comedians that wasn't popping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's interesting with Drake. I think, my whole thing about, which we really did get in a good argument. I listened to that shit. I listened to that shit over on YouTube. I'm like, yo, Mike had me hot here. I could tell when Mike get me hot. But, it was, the sad part about Drake is sometimes we all have this part of life growing up when you realize that, your mom always tell you like, yo, you ain't got no friends at that school, right?
Yeah.
And it take you getting into a fight with somebody and your friends not being there or helping you, you realize like, oh shit, I ain't got no friends.
Solid point. Drake probably realized right now he doesn't have any friends.
Absolutely.
And he put himself in that situation, right?
Absolutely. So, and it just made me realize like, damn, here go another black lesson that Drake missed. I'm playing, man. Also, by the way, I do got to walk some shit back. Y'all know how I feel. I say if your dad black, you black in my book. When I was talking about it last week, I wasn't necessarily, let me clarify because I said what I said. And Mike pissing me off. He made me double down on shit that I didn't mean to double down on. That's the other problem with this fucking pod. You double down on shit that you don't want to double down on.
Yeah, live takes, right?
Absolutely. It's not like I could say, hold on, let me run that back. I think it's unfair to look at Drake. I did look up some quotes. I still feel like Drake only tells us that he's black, or he talks about his blackness in I was never black enough and biracial. I do believe that it's fair for him to emphasize that he's biracial. Do what you want to do, bro. It doesn't matter. I do believe, though, what I wanted to express was I think Drake is in an interesting part where he's figuring out black culture in America different, which you was getting to when I rewatched. This is me just apologizing to Mike. You were getting to
you kicked my back in, especially on the internet. Y'all cook me on the internet. Y'all cook me.
Some comments I don't like them doing to you. I'm like, only I can get that off. You can't. Yeah,
I don't mind. I mean, we post content so y'all can make comments. Y'all do get on my nerves sometimes. Like I like to engage, but I'm only going to engage if we can flush something out. If it's just like, yo, we just going to engage to hurl insults back and forth, I'm not interested.
Currently, I'm getting pissed at the Michael Todd commenters.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they get on my nerves. It's like, they really pissing me off. And it's like, one dude, he said we don't go to church. I'm like, yo, we go to church. He's like, well, where y'all go? This is where I go. And then he got like Reverend, Bishop, Apostle, something in his name. I said, bro, get out of here.
No, nobody cares. But like I said, I'm not really mad at anyone. And even I'll say this. And okay. What Kendrick did is he pulled in all the reinforcements of the West Coast. And like I said, it's a cheat. It's a cheat code. But you know what though? It's a good cheat code. It really, really is. So I'm not really mad at it.
If you putting $150K on my head to find out dirt, yeah.
I'm not really mad. I'm not really mad at it. But I'm always for. I tell y'all all the time on this pod, right? Mm-hmm. We're all black, right? But there is there is a delineation. I'm for delineation. I do think the African American culture is different than any other black culture in the world, right? It's different than black Brits. It's different than Africans. Mm-hmm. Even if you are an immigrant, it's different than Caribbeans. Mm-hmm. Even if you're an immigrant and your parents came here and you grew up, yeah, exactly.
Them niggas different.
Yeah, they different. They different. they are immigrants. But it's like, so I'm for delineation, right? Like I say that actually in my profile on Twitter. Like I'm 100% like, yo, we got to delineate.
Yeah.
But I didn't like when people like, oh, okay, well, let's take away from his blackness like that, because when you do that, someone else is going to do it to you at some point. I'm fully for like, yo, if you want to say he's Canadian black, I'm with it, right? Because if I went to Canada, I would speak on black issues in Canada. I don't know what your culture is. I don't know what the background is. So I think that criticism is fair if you feel that that's what he's doing. But just don't say that's what he's doing. Like, add it. This is what I'm seeing. This is what he's doing. Not just, well, I just want to take a shot. So that's all. That's all I was saying. Not you per se. I'm just saying, like,
I understand.
On the internet, that's how it was reading. So it's like, I'm against that. But yeah, I did go back. I listened to all the Kendrick albums. First album. I don't even think that's his first album. I think this is his second album. I think that's his first mainstream album.
It's his first. Because Section 80 is it's a mixtape.
Yeah.
So
and Section 8 was actually
Section 8 was really
that's
good.
That's how I learned about Kendrick. And with the first album, but like I said, after he made the first album, it went away because I thought he was going to bring back the ideal of West Coast rap, and I know y'all going to say he did, but
not really. But I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying. Like I did think that was going to be the reemergence, and it really wasn't. It really was just Kendrick. Like
who did that was YG, but
and
shout out to YG.
You know, West Coast artists that are really good, they really don't put out a lot of work. Is California just that beautiful, that many women that y'all just be like, I'm rich enough?
I think that goes to your California point.
Yeah.
Versus your music California point that I don't agree with. Here's another point for Mike. That might be the title of this episode. I think you look at YG, who drops albums, he does not care. YG has a clothing line that's a luxury clothing line at that, which is crazy. You think about a dude who is a gangbanger. Like, that is amazing about that, right? He makes Kendrick, if you like Kendrick's album, YG album is the same thing, but it's very West Coast. It's all about gangs.
Yeah.
It's a story of a life. It's the day in the life of them in LA, in Compton, and them going through it. Kendrick's is not about gangbanging at all. It's about his friends trying to figure out if they want to do some gang shit. YG's is literally about gangbanging, which is funny. And shout out to Logic trying to steal both of those ideas and doing it, and the internet told him no, which is still a good intro album. But they go do other stuff. You know, I always laugh. Chief Keef dropped one album, moved to LA to Calabasas, ain't never been back to Chicago ever again.
He
has a weed store.
Yeah,
well, he's still alive. You know.
That I do not blame him. But I think California. I think once you're just rich,
you can figure it out.
It just makes you be like, I don't want to make music no more.
I didn't watch it. I ain't got too much to say on it. Prayers up for Kale from Keenan and Kale from All That from Good Burger. His interview with Shannon. I saw the clip about his wife having 2 kids on him or whatever, by 2 different guys. And it reiterated everything I've thought about Kale from the last 30 years, that he's a little off. Like
he is a little off.
Or something happened to him and he's been off.
I haven't watched it. I think I think it's
that's to go get the kid alarm.
Yeah, exactly. That's to remind you to go grab the kid.
Yeah, that means we got 7 minutes left, y'all. Dead ass, because I gotta go get mine.
So, but let's speed through this thing though.
Church announcements. Harrison Buckner. He actually did a commitment speech at a Christian college. I think that's important to note.
Yeah, I think that's and I think that point is lost on everybody. Like, absolutely. I hate this is what I hate about the internet, that it's thrown all of us together, right? Is that one of the parts of reading is understanding the audience. So when you know what the audience, this is not in defense of Harrison Buckner.
Absolutely, because that shit was stupid.
No, and I'm pro free speech. But part of knowing like who the audience is, that's a big thing. Like, he wasn't talking to everybody. He was talking to a very Christian organization. Mm-hmm. Now, what I will say is what he said was controversial, and everybody's coming in and saying, "Hey, difference of opinion. He's a good guy. He's still my friend. I'm looking at you, Pat Mahomes."
He's black.
Kaepernick, he is black. Kaepernick could have.
He's black.
He could have used some of y'all grace. Some of this grace that y'all giving to Harrison Buckner for a difference of opinion. Just perhaps maybe Kaepernick could have taken just a little.
And we understand Pat wasn't in the league when Colin was going through what he was going through.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like,
but yeah, I understand. Yeah. I thought it was interesting, but they always make black people go save white people. Michael Vick, when Riley Cooper was out there calling people.
Yeah, I didn't understand. Pat Mahomes got to make a comment on the kicker. It's a fucking kicker.
It's a kicker. We can get a new one.
Yeah, I don't care.
I saw the things and I was like, yo, this is wild. And then I realized, I'm like, oh, my Christian school that I grew up in high school, if they were still around, they'll probably have him to speak next year.
Yeah, right.
This dude is going to get more speaking gigs. But I thought it was interesting. What's your idea? What's your thoughts? And I know neither one of us are Greek. So I don't want to go there. But what do you think about people using God to denounce Greek organizations? If you don't know, there was a young lady who just she just became a member of Delta, the Delta sorority at Howard, which is a big deal because that is their first chapter location. Yeah. And not even a week later, she denounced it because of God. And she gave some scriptures. I thought it was wild with the scriptures in there.
The whole Greek thing. For a minute, I almost thought about pledging for the brotherhood, and then it didn't happen, and I never felt the need to do it again. Mm-hmm. I like the organization. I like what they represent. I like the community. Whether or not to mix that with religion, God clearly says, "Have no other gods before me." That's it. That's pretty much his mandate. Yeah. So if your fraternity or sorority is above him, you're probably in the wrong. If it's behind him, he just said not in front of him. So do it as you will.
Also, y'all don't have to denounce it online. You could just stop paying your dues. Take it out your bio.
Yeah, the show pony, man. Like show pony.
She sent them a 2-page letter and then put it on the internet.
Yeah.
They tearing her up in the comments.
Oh yeah.
But I love it. Yeah. I love people who take criticism like us. Mike Todd, I wonder if you sending church members to our page. I hope so. Probably. Bro. Please.
Yeah, you're gonna lose members like that. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Keep it
up. You could tie that $ Black Dads Club and let us know. Yeah. Let's get to sports as we wrap this up. Caitlin Clark. Why Jermele Hill don't like her?
She tried to write that article as like even as she could. Everybody is saying that like they were WNBA stars before Caitlin, right?
Which is true. It was stars.
Well, they were good players. They weren't stars.
Okay.
If I was to ask you right now, like who did Shamika Holdsclaw play for, you wouldn't have a clue.
Charlotte Hornets.
No, right? And she's probably like one of the greatest of WNBA players of all time, right? So
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If I ask you who Caitlin Clark plays for, everybody knows she plays for the Fever, right?
Yeah.
So Caitlin Clark, I look, man, fly over America, 65%. All right, that's the population.
That's the population
of white America, right? Don't get all cringy when I say this, because if you ever worked in advertising or media,
bro, this is genius.
Just the way that they talk about demographics and people, you think is phobic and racist and bigoted, and you'd be right, because they're trying to land something directly in front of someone that's going to buy it.
I worked in the marketing department, and they said the most qualified woman for the job could not get it because she was not pretty enough, and they went and hired a girl who, to me, they look the same, and they said she's pretty enough to go on TV.
Yeah, and so it's like, like that's media and advertising. So y'all can't get mad at Nike. Like it's a reason why Caitlin Clark is a bigger star than Cameron Brink. Right?
Absolutely,
it's a reason for that. It's not just because they like Caitlin is a better player. She's less intimidating.
Yeah,
Fly Over America is enjoying this. Let them have it. The WNBA is flying chartered. Y'all getting more deals than y'all have ever gotten. The games are selling out more. Like, if you get that through Caitlin Clark, take it. And what's crazy is, and Caitlin Clark is not on the level of Tiger Woods, who has said he's not black, right? But when Tiger Woods came into golf, right, they hated Tiger Woods, right? Because they were like, yo, he's being treated way differently. He got all these deals. He hasn't earned anything.
And now you can get out of jail in 6 hours.
Exactly. Golf ratings, and like Tiger's not even good anymore. Golf ratings, and they're paid like what they started having to pay for tournaments, because like Tiger had so much money that they were worried that Tiger was just gonna stop golfing. Yeah. So they raised how much they pay, and now everybody gets to benefit from that.
Yeah. Even if you need to be at work in 6 hours and you run past a police stop.
Yeah, and then police rides down the window, you can get out of jail. Like, yeah. Look, Caitlin, I'm glad she struggled in the WNBA, but the bias that y'all have, like you have to be unbiased. Like my homegirl had called me about the Jemele Hill thing, and she was just like, they talk about Caitlin, they're not talking about Angel Reese. Angel Reese been hooping. I was just like, all right. I was like, look, I said, hold on real quick, right? And I just looked at these numbers this morning. So I said, Angel Reese is averaging 11.5 points, 8.5 rebounds on 35% shooting. All right. I said Caitlin's averaging 17.8 points, like 4.6 rebounds, I think 5.8 assists on 40% shooting. I was like, she's better in every category except for rebounding and
turnovers.
Turnovers. And I was like, and we're saying that she's underachieving. I was like, I say this is not the fight. I said, if you want women's sports to take off, you're going to have to. If Caitlin would have came in and dominated, everybody would have said nobody in WNBA is good. The fact she's coming in and struggling is making us be like, oh, well, who's locking her up there? Who are these other young ladies out here? And Cowherd and Charles Barkley, y'all, boy, when I tell you the patriarchy, like that, like Charles Barkley's not a member of the patriarchy, but the idea of the patriarchy, right? I tell y'all, it's more about their sisters, their mothers, and their daughters. This idea that they should have gave it, the Fever, a soft schedule so Caitlyn could have dominated. This idea that it's like, oh, y'all too rough on her. She's already winning, and y'all want to make it easier. Like, that's just like, that's white men for you. That's how supremacy works in this country. Like, you already got a fair shot. You're already good at it. How can we make it easier for you? You're already making the most money and all that. I just think it's funny to sit back, especially because I'm watching the same amount of WNBA games as I was watching last year. Which I'm keeping up with it though. Yeah. I'm keeping up with it. I'm keeping up with it. I'm not watching them though. Can you bet? You can bet on Caitlyn now. Yeah, FanDuel just released it. You was not doing that shit 2 years ago. You wasn't. Like, I'm trying to tell you, it's just funny to watch. Also, I'm gonna keep it real. When I see Jermele Hill fight with white men, I really don't give a fuck because she's been kicking our backs in for years. So it's like, okay, sis, you get what you get. Yeah. NBA playoffs. I want to say super proud of Kyrie. I can't wait to see what happens. I don't know who's gonna win. Who you got in the playoffs? This is the last four. Jimmy Butler ain't in it. I think it's gonna be Boston, and here's the thing: whoever come out of the West is good because it's a new story, it's a new narrative. Yeah. I'd rather it be Ant because it's time for the league to hand the league over to somebody else. Jason Tatum did not grab it the way he needed to grab it. Nope. I would love if Anthony does grab it. So I kind of want Boston and them play, but Boston gonna beat the hell out of. They is Minnesota, and Jason Tatum is more polished than Ant-Man. Yeah, and the league want that. Yeah, and they've already played. They battle tested. Yeah. So sadly, I think the Celtics are gonna pull it off. Yeah, I don't think just the Mavs have enough, but it's good to see them. They won last night. It was a good thing. Yeah. Inside the NBA is done. The last thing of the day. Super sad. I think they got one more year, right? Yeah, I think just next year, and after that is gone. Do they get in the Hall of Fame? I think they're all in the Hall of Fame already. No, everybody is but Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith not in the Hall of Fame? The show, that's the only way Kenny gonna get in is because of the show. Kenny the Jet Smith? He's not in the Hall of Fame. Like New York lore? Yeah, I don't. I'm 99% sure he's not in the Hall of Fame. I know Ernie just got in for broadcasting, but if the show gets in, I think that's the way they. That is insane. Like, because basketball Hall of Fame is like easy. It's easy to get in. It's almost like you make it to the league and you start for 6 years. You're a Hall of Famer. Yeah, man. That is insane. I wonder what Kenny did to somebody then. Mm-hmm. Like Kenny Smith. He's in the New York Basketball Hall of Fame. That is wild to me because he was a great player. Mm-hmm. High school, like that's like high school and college normally does it for you. Like, is Christian Laettner a Hall of Famer? I think because of the Dream Team. I think the Dream Team is. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. If the show becomes. Because it's a broadcaster and broadcasters can get in. If the show can go in, then Kenny will be in the Hall of Fame. I'm just interested to see if it happens, man. I think it should. It's a great show. They've been on for what, 20 years? Yeah. It's time, man. I mean, all four of them. It's gonna be sad to see, man. Yeah, bro. It's crazy. Because when Ernie wasn't in, and when Ernie got in last year or 2 years ago, he is enshrined. Christian Laettner is in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Yeah, man. And Kenny Smith is it. Bruh, gun to my head, would have lost that one. No way. This is why you got the young boy in the pod to keep y'all in check, man. What you got planned this weekend? Oh, man, I'm about to go golf today. I'm still recovering, man. I had a little bit too much fun last night. Mike used the flu game as his... Yeah, this was my flu game. Hey, man, the energy was kind of down at the beginning, man. I'm telling you. Like, I was that's why y'all got me, the real Michael Jordan fan. Oh, these is dunks. He got on J's today. I actually got on the J's. See, man. Look, man, I want to thank y'all. We actually got to go get our kids. We will have... our Father's Day list next week that we want y'all to buy for us. Yeah, you know what? That's a good topic next week. Because I saw a trend and they were just like, why men don't want, like, why y'all don't like y'all women buying y'all stuff. And it's like, we do like it, but one, I don't want to pay for it. Fact. Right? So if you buying it for me and then I got to buy it basically back from you, I don't want it. Like, don't want it. And two, we be wanting nice stuff. Like the things that I want, man. Are the next thing that any lady could buy me is NCAA football. Okay. Like $99, right? Like that's the kind of stuff we want. Like, please. What system? PS5. Oh, I'm about to say if you would have said, hey, don't even buy it. I'm about to pre-order. Don't even
Well, just send him the money for it. Let's do it how the escorts do it. Yo, just bought NCAA right now. Please send the money to $ Pastor Mike Will. I don't even think that's his real thing. So
I actually think our Cash App is Black Dads Club.
All right, DM us for Mike's Cash App so you can pay him back. That's what the escorts do. I love when they do that shit. Anyway, we're gonna holler at y'all next time.
Holler at your boy.
Good shit. Man, I gotta